Greetings and welcome back to Smartwatch Ticks. We've got a fun unboxing today from LEMFO, who's heading in a whole new direction. Are you ready for this? This is the LF21. Take a quick look at it, then we'll talk about it. Actually, I'm going to shine a light on that transflective screen so that you can see its analog, see the blue dials of the watch, and digital. Yeah. We'll get into this in a minute. First of all, a little bit about it. This is from the AliExpress store run by LEMFO. And again, it's the LF21 dual mode, if you want to call it that. A crossover, if you'd like that term. It's an analog and digital watch combined together. Now, what all does it have in it and what can it do? Let's take a look. It features really severe waterproofing. When you're starting to talk something like this, that means you can dive with this watch. Up to 5 atmospheres, or about 50 meters, that's 300 some odd feet, right, of professional waterproofing. Yeah, you can swim with it. You got a 1-year standby time because it's using a tiny a regular battery, you know, like a watch battery inside of it. The screen doesn't take much power at all. It's almost like one of those old digital watches, only it's a smartwatch. It takes care of all of these things. You got 3 needles to check the time, pedometer, burning calories, and phone call reminders, SMS. You'll see all of that here shortly. And here's the specifications. Using Bluetooth 4.0, of course, to get that kind of long life, with a CR2430 battery. And you just change that every year or so. It'll save the data it collects for 15 days if you're away from your tethering connectivity to your phone, and then it can transfer it over, and then it wipes out the old data and replaces it with the new. You can use the buttons 100,000 times, but you won't really need to use them that much, just to cycle through, probably the menu button the most. You've got stuff that doesn't make sense, current for your Bluetooth and step count. You've got all these currents. It looks like an engineer got a hold of the specs here. A buzzer sound of 40 to 50 decibels and 5 lumens of brightness. Yep, it has a built-in backlight as well. And I wanted to show you this as we get into the watch. You can come back here and refer to it. These are all the buttons. Just quickly, the upper left one does 2 things, turns the backlight on, and you can press and hold to turn the Bluetooth on and off so that you can tether it. Your main button is down here. That's the mode. That's going to cycle through everything. Depending on the mode you're in, then these 2 buttons do different things. Stopwatches, alarms, and just looking at your calories burned and distance walk, stuff like that. So that's the overview. It's kind of an amber background and a blue watch body. And inside the box, further down, we have an actual manual. This goes into really nice detail about it. And there you go. There's the button layout I just talked about. And the floating hands are easily adjusted by the center knob. We'll show you that too. Page through of this. I actually just recently used one of my own videos because there was something in a manual I needed to check on, and so I went to the bigger computer where I can read this and quickly page forward and backward and found what I was looking for and solved my little problem. So I've thought this might be a waste of time, but honestly, there are those moments when there's something in there that you just really want to check out. And like here, manually setting the watch. If you can't tether it, for whatever reason, you're out in the hills and it wasn't updated and you really want to have the right time and date, you can do that manually. And the instructions are in here on how to do that. Here's how you can use a stopwatch and the timer. And reading all the sports data. So it's really primarily for doing step tracking if you're going to be out collecting fitness data like that. It's not a multi-sport mode type of a device. You're not going to be doing cycling and swimming and tracking your swimming and such. But you can definitely collect some calorie data based on your walking and whatnot. Here are the QR codes that you want to scan to download your Tethering app. There's a Chinese and a international version for Android. And when you do that, you get into the app. It shows you how you can log in and then bind it, which was very easy and very quick. Found the watch by its name right away, just like this. Shows up, you touch it, you wait a little bit, and it does all of its stuff in the background. And then here's the app operations. Now you upload the data after you've been out, and some more stuff. And that's it. Okay, then we're in another language. Great. Well, I'd say we'll charge it up and turn it on. I usually say that about this point, but there's no charging necessary because it's already on. There we go. And now when it's off, you see it's all a black screen. I've got some bad reflections. Sorry about that. Let's actually brighten this even brighter. There. Now, you see it's a regular analog watch with the back completely turned off. And if I pull the knob out, you saw I did that, I can twirl and change the hands. And clocks to demonstrate, we always like to have them at about 10:10. And you see there's a second hand, and when I press it in, it starts ticking again. So your analog part of the watch is all controlled simply by the knob like a regular watch. Press the mode and the upper button again, and it says on, and it comes back in full brightness. And when I hit it really with bright sunlight like that, you can see it's great. It's really, really bright. There, you saw it just link in and sync up with the time. So it automatically did the Bluetooth connection as well once I was already paired to my watch. So let's run through the modes. This won't take long. Mode buttons in the lower left-hand corner. First push shows you the date, and it's showing a little calendar here. Second push shows you your step count. We just unboxed it so we don't have any. We press it again. There's your calories burned, computed from your step count, and I presume in the app, your height and weight and gender and all of that. And then here's your distance, which is taken from a normalized stride based on your steps. And then here's your alarms, where you can set the alarms. It's got a bright thing around the date over there, or the day of the week. Here is a stopwatch. When you press the upper button, you've got the stopwatch running. Trying to get this without the corner shadows here. In hundredths of a second. Look at that. Hundredths of a second. Wow. Press mode again, and we're back to time. So, date, steps, calories, distance, alarms, stopwatch, which it kept that unless I reset it, probably with the down button. And, whoops, I started it again. Oh, I can start it and run it in the background as well. And then back to the main display. And that's pretty much what it does. So let's open it up. Give you a chance to see the really solid TPU band. This thing, the construction on this, it's, wow. It's definitely ruggedized. It's something you could really take out in the forest if you want to. And when you put it on your tiny little wrist, like so, well, I'll just emulate it. It's going to look, yeah, on the large size, but that's the effect. That's what we're after with this watch. Well, I put a little bit of data on here so we can test out the app. There's my step count, kilocalories, and kilometers. And then the rest of it, oh, there's the stopwatch, about 2.5 hours worth. And we're back to time. And here's the Tethering app. It's called Sports Plus. It's in the Google Play Store for Android. When you bring it up, you hop right into here and refresh it. Goes out and pulls in the data. And now we've got the step count information and our kilocalories and our kilometers. So the app tethers and it brings you this day, week, month kind of a display. And that's pretty much it for the home screen. Then in the drop down menu, you can come into here to a few other things like settings, where you can change our units to miles instead of kilometers, and change the background setting to any of a number of stock ones. Okay, that looks fun. Let's do that. Application. And it moved the banner over here. Now, presumably, we have that as our background. Okay, that's just specifically for the app. Here's our data chart so far with today's exercise. And caution is where you go in and turn on which of these things you would like to have it push to you for reminders or checking from your phone. And then you've got alarms that you can set directly in the app that will tie into your watch as well. That's what they mean by caution. The operator's guide, get back to that some more in settings. We can change our target steps to whatever you'd like. I usually shoot for 8,000. That way I'm really surprised and happy when I hit the minimum 10,000 steps. Always a good goal. And wow, distance units, we wanted to change that to miles again. I hope that stuck. And the background setting we already changed. Let's see. Yeah, still says it's miles. That's good. Device management was where we just set it all up. Then that leaves us for operations guide, which tells you pretty much how to navigate it. Here's the different things and the pull down to refresh. There's your overall step numbers against a goal and the chart down at the bottom. And that's just like a quick guide. Then when you bring open the side tab, you can set your username and information. Oh, we should show you that because username is where you put in your gender, birth date, height, and weight, which is going to be used for computation of your calories burned and such. And that's it. It's a pretty simple app overall. Tells you about the app itself. And you can recommend it to friends or go into a product catalog. But the magic happens in the watch on this one. And since we switched it, there's our steps. Are we still in calories? And we're still in kilometers. So it's not updating the units on the watch, but it apparently can update them directly here in miles. And it's still in calories on the app itself. And if you look deep inside here at the bezel, you've got like this whole tiered bezel thing going on. You got the markers on an inner bezel that comes then down to the actual watch itself. So very detailed design in this one. No heart rate monitor or anything like that. It's basically a digital watch using transflective screen technology to give you some smarts. The three icons at the bottom are for getting your messages. If you have something, they'll flash a phone call coming in. Your push information once you're tethered to your watch. There you go. So, one more time. This is from LEMFO, and it's called the LF21. It's available right now. Check the show notes down below for a link over here. You can pick it up and enjoy the latest addition to the LEMFO line of smartwatches. Take care. We'll see you again soon.